When Scottie Barnes was drafted 4th overall by the Raptors, the pick was ridiculed as Scottie Barnes was deemed not NBA ready because mostly he didn't have a jump shot. But he has completely defied expectations even early on in his NBA career as he has started to really knock down his three-pointers, especially knocking down those jump shots. So in today's video, we visit how did he manage to do it? Let's get into it. Welcome NBA and Raptors fans, this is Amateur Sports, the channel where you get NBA content with a focus on the Toronto Raptors at least 4 days a week. So if you like what you see from today's video and you want more of myself talking about the NBA and the Raptors in videos and content just like this, then make sure you are subscribed to Amateur Sports and you get those 4+ videos a week as I mentioned. But let's get down to business for today's video. We are talking about Scottie Barnes and his progression as a shooter. We got to really dive into these deeper topics as the Raptors have some games that are getting postponed. Unfortunately, the one tonight is in that category as well, but some good things to talk about as well. Let's find some bright things. And one of those bright things, a shining light on this season, is Scottie Barnes and his progression as a player. Because like I said, when he came into the league, he was deemed as somebody who wasn't NBA ready because he really didn't have a jump shot. And that wasn't really any slander, because if you look at his game in college, he relied heavily on getting onto the interior, getting into the paint, and uses athleticism and playmaking to really make him that elite prospect that he was. But the jump shot just wasn't there. If you dive into his college statistics, yes, he shot about 50% from the field, but only about 27% from three. But clearly, he worked hard after that college season to get himself up to that NBA level, and I think that he really showcased his ability to shoot in his pre-draft workout for the Raptors, which is why we went for him with the 4th overall pick, and he has absolutely not let us down. I would say he is the Rookie of the Year favorite at this point, averaging almost 16 points per game and over 8 rebounds per game. But one of the most impressive statistics about his game is that, with that 48% field goal percentage, we expected something around there. But the 36% three-point percentage is something that we were definitely not expecting, at least this quickly. Nick Nurse, Masai Ujiri, Bobby Webster were all adamant after the draft that Scottie Barnes was going to get better and become a serviceable shooter in the NBA. And even the biggest Scottie Barnes truthers coming into the season, even the guys who were the most hyped out about this player, could not have foreseen his shooting being this good this early. Is it like an elite NBA level? No, it isn't. It's 36%, but that is quite good, especially for a 20-year-old, especially for a rookie, and even more especially for a rookie, like I said, who was said to have not had a jump shot coming into the season. But there was no shame. There's no shame in admitting that that's something you said. I claimed that, and there was no evidence to suggest otherwise. But I never said that he couldn't develop it, but this quickly is pretty unbelievable. And the deeper you go into those statistics, it becomes even more unbelievable how much better he is getting, because typically when you go through the Nick Nurse school of shooting, you slowly build up your ability to shoot threes, and it typically starts with hitting those open corner threes. So Pascal Siakam and OG Anunoby were some early graduates of that Nick Nurse school of shooting, playing with some elite players on that Raptors championship team. It allowed them to kind of have that open space in the corner, and especially Pascal Siakam was shooting very well on the corner threes in that 2018-2019 season. The following season, he progressed a little bit further, added in the shooting off of the dribble, adding in the shot above the break for three. That was really good for Pascal Siakam in that All-Star season. OG Anunoby's in a very similar vein, and he has progressed even further on that three-point shooting this season when he was playing and in full flow. The three-pointers off the dribble were incredible. Last season, it was mostly catch and shoot for OG. This season, off the dribble. See how it's a slow progression? You go from those open corner threes to maybe taking those catch and shoot threes above the break to maybe some pull-up triples. These are things that happen for those types of players with so many good players like, Kawhi Leonard for a period of time, Kyle Lowry on the team who are taking up a lot of the ball and provide that extra space for the other guys on the floor because they draw so much attention. Well, for Scottie Barnes, he is taking very little of those three-pointers in the corner. In fact, of the 59 three-point attempts he's had this season, only 13 of those have occurred in the corner. The rest of them have been above the break. And that is kind of shocking to me that he is taking so many of those above the break. And a lot of these are also taken off of the dribble. Sure, there's a lot of catch and shoot threes, but he's actually shooting 41% from three when taken off the dribble, which is hugely, hugely impressive for somebody who was said to have not been able to really shoot at all to being somebody who can create his own shot. That is extremely impressive this early in his career. But the jump shot goes beyond just those 3-pointers. The jump shots as well are a big factor in mid-range, which I also claimed in the pre-draft that he didn't really quite have in college. Again, it was getting to the rim. He shot about 60% in the restricted area in college. He's doing the same in the NBA at about 63% right now, which is very impressive. The mid-range shooting is 48% right now for Scottie Barnes in the NBA. The NBA average in mid-range typically hovers around 41%, 42% in terms of efficiency. So he is well above that mark for himself. He has really found a home at that right elbow. If he gets into that spot, you can rely on him to knock that shot down, I think, more often than not. That has allowed him to find so many layers to his game. When you got to go play up a little bit more on him in the mid-range, it gives him more space for him on the inside, which we know he is so lethal at getting to the rim and putting the ball in the basket, whether it be a dunk, whether it be a layup, whether it be a hook. There's so many ways Scottie Barnes can hurt you offensively. Adding in this shooting just enables all these other parts of his game to take off to a new level. And again, we're not even halfway through his rookie season. He's already developing all of these fantastic skills to his game. I can't even imagine how good this player can be in 3 or 4 years. All these stats are impressive. All these percentages, all these numbers are impressive. And even if you watch Scottie Barnes play, you can see how impressive he is. He passes the eye test. He passes every test. But there's no answer to really how he has managed to do this. So I'm going to provide the best analysis that I possibly can about this situation. The first and easiest one being is that the college season ends in about March. That's a lot of time in between then and the start of the NBA season to truly work on and develop his shooting. And I think earlier on in the NBA season, he wasn't taking as many threes, and then Nick Nurse started encouraging him to take more of those threes. I think that it's better to tell a player to stop shooting as many threes instead of telling them to shoot more threes. So give him the full green light, use that confidence to his advantage, and if he's taking too many, then ask him to dial it down a little bit. That's a lot easier to do than telling him to shoot even more threes. So he has the confidence to take on those threes. He's been hitting them off the dribble. Doesn't matter if it's Kevin Durant defending him. Scottie Barnes is fully willing and eager to take on that shooting opportunity. So with the confidence there, I believe that confidence is like the most important thing when it comes to sport. No matter how talented you are, if you don't have the confidence to execute it consistently, then you're not going to be a good player, no matter how much skill and talent there is there. The psychological part of the game is outrageously important, and Scottie Barnes, the intangibles are off the chart. The confidence is off the chart. That has helped him a little bit, but it is the dedication and work ethic to really fine-tuning this shooting. And with the help of the Nick Nurse School of Shooting, as I mentioned, that has progressed him on to the next level this early in the season. And I also really feel like there's a strong correlation between Pascal Siakam's return and Scottie Barnes taking on more three-pointers. Early on, when Pascal Siakam returned from injury, Raptors fans were saying that Scottie Barnes and Pascal Siakam, they don't work together. But it was a pretty baseless sort of argument, because what they were basing it off of was that Pascal Siakam, who is undoubtedly the best player, most talented player on this Toronto Raptors team, he was taking up a lot of the ball because he is the best player. He needs the ball and he uses the ball well. He thrives when he has the ball, and that's why we need to give him the ball. Scottie Barnes, who was taking on a lot of the usage earlier on this season, saw a little bit of a regression in his shooting opportunities per game as a result, because he was very ball dominant. He got to the rim very often, but Pascal Siakam kind of took over that. So Scottie Barnes had to find a little bit of a new way to affect the game. And this isn't problematic in any way whatsoever. This is a known thing. You got to be able to play with other good players. And Scottie Barnes started to find himself a little bit above the break more often, found himself a little bit more space more often. Whether you like it or not, and whether you'd like to admit it or not, Pascal Siakam requires a lot of the attention of the defense. And if you don't believe me when I say that, then you simply don't watch the Raptors. The opposition defense is very, very focused on what Pascal Siakam is doing. They know how harmful he can be if he gets on the interior. He's a very good finisher on the inside. And they really clog down the paint right now because Siakam, truthfully, he's got to be better with his three-point shots. He's not hitting his three-pointers right now, which is making it a little bit more difficult for him on the inside. Even though he's still putting up good numbers, they should be even better if he was knocking down those threes. As a result, opposition teams can kind of bunker down in the paint, which provides more space for other players on the outside, let's say like Scottie Barnes, who, as I mentioned, takes the grand majority of his three-point attempts above the break. As Pascal Siakam boggles down the defense, more space is afforded to the outside for players like Scottie Barnes. And of the three-point attempts that he's hit, when Pascal Siakam is the assister, Scottie Barnes has hit over 55% of his triples. That is a very good number because Pascal Siakam, he takes up a lot of the space. He takes away the space for himself, but he affords more space to other players on the team, like Scottie Barnes, who maybe other teams aren't giving him the most amount of respect from his three-point shot right now, but that is certainly going to change into the future. And even if, it kind of seems like even if they give him the respect, they go up and defend him, Scottie Barnes has the ability to create his own shot, which is another big shocker coming into the season, because one of the negatives for him coming into this season after the draft was that he wasn't a very good shot creator for himself. It was more so the playmaking and shot creation for other players, but he has completely defied any sort of expectations that we've had and blown them out of proportion so far in his rookie season. So with all of these great things about his game that are continuing to develop, because he's a very, very early in the three-point game that he possesses. He didn't have this. He did not have this like 8 months ago. He did not have this. I think even 2 months ago, you could go back and say he was not shooting like this. The fact that he is now, and he clearly possesses this trait, I mean, even 2 months in the future, how much better can this player become? Because it took a little bit of an adjustment to figure out his role when Pascal Siakam has returned, but now I think Scottie Barnes is better than ever. And Siakam and the rest of the Raptors are profiting as a result of this. The Raptors record is starting to kind of climb back. We're getting close to that 500 mark. Really wanted the game tonight against Orlando because it was a winnable game where we could have been at 500, but obviously, the health and safety of players does have to take precedent in those discussions. But the bright shining light right now, the thing you need to focus on if you want to be happy is Scottie Barnes' development. You got to appreciate this talent that the Raptors have. There is superstar potential in this player, and I cannot wait to see where he takes this franchise. So what do you make of Scottie Barnes' shooting development? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I want to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below, because that is it for me for today. Thanks so much for watching this video, guys. Please, if you did enjoy, give a like on the video. It goes a long way to supporting the channel. And I mean, if you're still watching this deep in the video, you clearly did enjoy what I had to say. So make sure you like and consider subscribing for more videos like this in the future. At least 4 videos a week, all concerning the Toronto Raptors. Get your Raptors fix with Amateur Hour Sports. The big button in the middle of the screen right now. So easy to subscribe, and I'll see you again next time for another video.